We used to come to this old coal mining area as kids, through the woods at the back. Up front it was all fenced off. It was all overgrown. There were trees everywhere, birches. It had this enchanted feel. You couldn't even see the buildings anymore. All of the beams around the kilns had fallen down. It was this enormous wild playground.
This is one of Gabriele Frielinghaus's favorite spots, where around 2 centuries ago, the first coal in the Ruhr region was mined. Even as a child, the architect knew she wanted to pursue a creative career.
My favorite playthings were a pencil and paper. I was barely able to hold a pencil, but you could put me in the corner. And if I had a pencil and a piece of paper, then I could sit for hours, sketching and drawing things.
But it took courage to follow her dream of being an architect. To do so, she gave up a secure career as a civil servant.
Developing visions and thinking about which materials you can use to realize a project. Trying to remain true to the picture in your head. Transporting that idea to the people I'm planning for. That's unbelievably exciting. And never the same thing twice.
One of her projects was a housing development on a former mining site. The old mine shafts had to be filled with concrete before the buildings she helped design could be built. Frielinghaus is helping to shape the changes taking place in her region.
At some point, a project is completed, the things you thought up. At first, it's just in your head, and at some point, it ends up on paper. And if everything goes well, then at some point, it is built. And then you get this feeling of real pride.
Now Frielinghaus is going down into an old mine herself for the very first time. Her grandfather spent much of his life underground digging coal. To get to the deposits, he had to travel through tunnels deep beneath the earth. The hard labor and coal dust made him ill in the end.
Working in those cramped tunnels in those temperatures, by today's standards and with our larger physiques, it's unbelievable for us that you could do that for your entire life. Leave school at the age of 10 or 12 and go to work there every day until you retired.
Frielinghaus's great-grandfather came from what is now Poland at the end of the 19th century. Around 500,000 Ruhr Poles, as they were known, were recruited as miners and moved here before the beginning of World War I.
My Polish roots are kind of a negative memory for me. That's because of my family name, Jorzik. Jorczik. I always had to spell it no matter where I was, and I was pigeonholed because of it. Not always, but often enough. And yes, I was ashamed of it for a while, but not anymore.
Her biggest project to date as an interior architect was for a law firm in Dortmund. Its staff felt at home there immediately.
It made me really happy, because I felt I had reached my goal. It was exactly what I wanted when I first put pencil to paper.
And as an architect, Gabriele Frielinghaus is helping to take the Ruhr region into the future.